Your college news station starts right now.
A house burns to the ground in Reddington, California.
Netflix is becoming the #1 online retailer.
And we introduce our new sports segment, Sports Talk with Sam Horn.
All that and more next on News at 9.
Last weekend marked the end of a workshop series for the new Swan Creek Park Food Forest in Tacoma. The idea for the food forest was inspired by Seattle's Beacon Food Forest and is being primarily organized by Nick and Kelda Lorax. The land at Swan Creek Park is 1 acre long, but they are hoping to expand it into the rest of the park in the future. Last Sunday was the last of their scheduled workdays, and the volunteers spent their time clearing the space of blackberry vines and spreading mulch. Now that they have finished their scheduled workshops and work parties, Kelda Lorax has plans to start regular workdays for anyone who is interested to come with planting. For more information or on future workdays, please visit www.divineearthgp.com.
Facebook announced on Wednesday that it plans on expanding its mobile network. The social media giant has agreed to buy WhatsApp in a deal worth $19 billion. Under the terms, Facebook will pay $4 billion in cash and $12 billion in stock. The agreement also provides an additional $3 billion in stock grants for WhatsApp's founders and employees if they stay employed by Facebook for 4 years. The CEO of WhatsApp will join Facebook's board. WhatsApp is used by more than 450 million people. It allows users to send text messages for free over the internet.
The co-pilot of an Ethiopian Airlines hijacked his own plane and flew it to Geneva with more than 200 passengers and crew on board. He was arrested after landing. No one was hurt. Swiss police say the Ethiopian hijacker wants political asylum. The plane was originally headed for Rome.
A home in Redding, California was burned to the ground Sunday after police found 60 pounds of explosives inside. Police found the explosives after the owner of the home accidentally blew off his hand. About 50 homes in the surrounding neighborhood were evacuated as a precaution. The homeowner has not been arrested or charged.
Apple announced today that it will debut its first U.S. iTunes Festival. The concert series will be part of South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, according to an Apple press release. Coldplay, Imagine Dragons, Keith Urban, and Zedd are expected to perform. The free festival will be held from March 11th to the 15th. iTunes users will also be able to stream it on demand via the iTunes Store.
A new survey finds Netflix customer satisfaction is at a 3-year high as the sting of a price hike wears off. In fact, according to the American Customer Satisfaction Index, Netflix scored a bigger year-over-year increase than any other online retailer last year. The numbers come on the heels of other good news for the company, with an independent management firm saying its release last week of Season 2 of House of Cards was a hit.
Coca-Cola is staying afloat while other soda markets shrink, and many point to the company's marketing strategy as the reason why. Tuesday, the Atlanta-based Coke company reported a 5% drop in net income to $8.6 billion for the year. That's down from $9 billion in 2012. Globally, soda drink sales have been shrinking as consumers turn to water, fruit drinks, and healthier alternatives. As PepsiCo, Coke's biggest rival, focuses on its snack business, Coke is focusing on its marketing strategy. In a tough market, brand experts credit Coke's relative strength with the mystery surrounding the company's much-hyped secret recipe. One marketing expert says it's the very idea of the mystery that attracts attention and is often seen as an element of quality.
Stay tuned. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Next is Beyond the Brochure with Amy Jones. This week she'll be interviewing Andy Morris, president of PLU's Yu-Gi-Oh! Club.
So here's the deal. I can show you a bunch of footage of third world countries with starving children and roofless shacks. But you've seen that all before. I can play on your emotions and explain to you why you have it so good and you owe it to the world to go out there and help others. But you already know that. The truth is, this is nothing new to you, but the world is still waiting for people like you. So what are you waiting for? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go?
This new phone is awesome. It has made my life so much easier. You know, I get kind of bored when I'm driving and I need to know what's going on. So now, with this huge screen, a keyboard, and a ton of apps, I can get a text and write back right away, no problem. It's like I barely even have to look at it.
Welcome back to News at 9. I'm Amy Jones here with Andy Morris, who's the president of PLU's Yu-Gi-Oh! Club. So Andy, why did you decide to start a Yu-Gi-Oh! Club at PLU?
Well, I really got into the game back in high school, and it really brought together a little community of friends. So I figured I could do that here at the college level, and I was hoping to bring together just a giant community to unified by this really great hobby.
So how long has the club been around?
We started just this fall, but going back to the beginning processes, it took me early into the summer, last summer, just trying to make the club into a official paperwork writing club.
Do you guys have official meeting times? Where do you guys meet exactly?
We have meetings every Thursday night from 8 o'clock to 10 p.m. and we meet over in the University Commons, just in the dining area, so it's very open and everybody gets the chance to see us and see what we do.
Okay. So now let's hear from the President Ivy Reeves about his experience in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Club.
My name is Ivy Reeves. I am the Vice President of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Club. When we actually get together, it's quite an interesting time because you never know what's going to happen in a duel. Each person either does a single duel, double duels, or an interesting concept that actually came up this year was a Chaos Duel, where it's every...
So after that scintillating segment, do you guys get a large turnout every week?
Generally, we get between 7 to 10 people every week, but the numbers totally dwindle and change interchangeably during the week.
Okay, so what exactly is the game Yu-Gi-Oh?
So the game Yu-Gi-Oh is actually a little tabletop trading card game, and it's played with 3 different types of cards. You have monster cards, which do battle, and the 2 opponents can have one monster attack another. The way to beat your opponent's monsters is helped by the second type of card. It's called a spell card, and that can raise the attack of your monster or lower the attack points of your opponent's monster. And then the third type of card, we have the trap cards, which are just pink cards that, in my opinion, just tend to slow down the game, but they're really meant to help out in dire situations.
So what exactly do the cards look like?
Okay, so the cards look. I brought some with me. So, binder, woohoo! But on the cover of the binder, actually, we have several of the monster cards, and the vanilla-looking cards. Those are just your average monsters, and the darker tannish colored cards, monster cards, those have abilities that also help out in battle. And the monster with the better ability tends to have a little bit more of an advantage over the vanilla card. And as for spells and traps, we have just a couple of examples here. Your average spell cards, little blue ones right there, and these are the ones that will raise and lower the attack and defense of all of the respective monsters. The pink cards, we have the trap cards, and they do a variety of different things. It really varies on which card you use.
Oh, okay. So that's what originally made you interested in this game? How long have you guys played?
Well, me personally, I actually got into the game back when the show first came out, back in the second grade, and that was just when everybody got their first 5 cards, bought their first pack. It was all exciting. Everyone was just, beside themselves. But I really kind of kept with the game, and me and my best friend, we used to play it even after all of the hype died down. And then, going into high school, basically I had lost contact with my friend, and I didn't really have the chance to play anymore. But one day after school, I walked across the street to a McDonald's, and I found 3 of my classmates playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was actually like one of the coolest experiences of high school, finding that play. And so I was like, yeah, I've got cards too. I can join into this. So I brought my cards the next day, and we kind of formed a team. And that's really what prompted me to start it at college.
And summon
Wow,
Thunder
so
King Ryan.
you've played it since the 2nd grade. How long would you say that is?
Cool. Thunder King Ryan.
Years? That's got to be ranging somewhere around 13 to 14 years, I think.
Can you describe a typical club meeting?
So the typical club meeting, we have everybody show up around 8 o'clock-ish in the UC, but it's just kind of, since it's so open, there's not a rigid time for people to start. Maybe we start with 2 or 3 people showing up first, and then, within the first half an hour, more and more people show up until we've got, the full 10 people, or maybe just a little bit less. But we'll have 1-versus-1 duels, and then moving on, just in case people get bored, you can play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game in groups of 4, and we call those double duels. And then to end every meeting, we always have a chaos duel, which is something that we coined here at PLU as like a free-for-all. It's just a battle royale. So that's, say you have like six players that all want to play and compete in the same game. So it would be 1-versus-1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1. Everyone's going up against each other. And what we originally did for this chaos duel that made it so special, if one person gets attacked directly, meaning that they won't have a monster down or have any cards in play, then they cannot be touched or attacked or anything until the entire circle has gone around and it comes back to their own turn.
Okay. So do you have any plans for special events on campus?
On campus, I haven't really worked out anything about the special events, but off of campus, we've actually been having club tournaments. And there's a little card shop just down the road over in Spanaway, and we have taken the club out there once or twice for just tournaments and having fun,
So besides a sense of community, what else do you hope this club accomplishes at PLU?
I'm really hoping that it just sticks around, But besides the community, it's just great to have the hobby, living throughout the test of time. It's something that started back in 2nd grade. It kind of came in and left with our generation, and I feel like if we can make it stick, it'll bring joy to everyone for years to come.
Okay, so we'll be back after this commercial break. Stay tuned for Sports Talk with Sam Horn, and he'll be giving us an update about loot sports around campus.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to News at 9. I'm Sam Horn and you're watching Sports Talk. Have you ever been involved in a sport? Maybe football or perhaps cricket. What about basketball? Well, if not, don't worry. I'm here to help you by explaining sports topics to the very best of my abilities. Here's what you need to know about Michael Sam. He's from the University of Missouri. The defensive lineman recorded 123 tackles, including 36 for loss, 21 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions in his illustrious college career. Earlier this past week, Sam announced that he is gay. The media is making such a big deal about this, but the bottom line is that scouts need to pay attention to his playmaking abilities and disregard his sexuality. After all, he did not earn All-American and first-team SEC honors last year for nothing. Charles Barkley, a former NBA star, gives his thoughts on how Michael Sam will be received by future NFL teammates.
I think they're going to be safe with their teammates. I think the public at large is more homophobic than guys in the locker room. I think we as players get a bad rap. If you go back and look at that Michael Sam interview, he told his team over the summer he never had an issue, and none of those players outed him on Instagram or Twitter or all that social crap. There was another college player who came out on his team, and he said he was treated great. I think players are gonna respect each other, and we should respect each other. When you're part of a team, there's gonna be agreements and disagreements, but you should always have respect for each other.
Let's transition to the Lutes basketball teams. They haven't played quite up to par this year, but the men have shown signs of life for next season. The Lutes scored 83 points in a loss to Denison on November 30th. 83 points is still a significant amount of points in the college arena. The two leading scorers for the Lutes were underclassmen, first-year Brandon Lester and sophomore Bryce Miller. Both players had 16 points. Lester has shown that even as a first year, he has what it takes to succeed at the collegiate level. Take their game against Occidental College, for instance. Even though the Lutes did lose 81-74, Lester piled on 18 points. Lester is going to be really good in the next couple years. Moving on to the women's teams. Sure, they haven't had a winning season, but they have earned more wins this year than they did in all of 2013. I'd say that's an improvement. Senior Samantha Potter has been a force to be reckoned with this season. She has been averaging 16 points per game and has shown no signs of slowing down. Unfortunately, she is a senior, so the Lutes will have to look for someone else to step up next year. Sophomores Sarah Barnes and Megan Abdo have the potential to rise to the occasion. Abdo led the team in three-point field goal percentage and averaged 2 threes per game. Barnes averaged 7 points per game. However, both players led the team in turnovers. If the Lutes have any chance of succeeding next year, these women must hold on to the ball. Imagine with me for a moment that spring is in the air. What does that smell? Baseball, of course. The PLU baseball team is returning this year hungry for revenge. Even though the team had to settle for 4th place last year, this baseball team is armed with some heavy artillery for a 1st place finish this year. Junior Curtis Wildun comes into this season after blasting 2 home runs last year. Senior Dominique Corsi comes back after enjoying a triumphant 2013 campaign. Corsi led the team in batting average, and I'm sure he has more plans for the same in 2014. The baseball team is off to a 4-2 start and will square off against Oregon Tech on February 22nd. The game will be played in Portland, Oregon. Even though the softball team is 1-3 so far, senior Spencer Sherwin returns from their high-speed season. Don't be fooled, though, she's not on the track team. Sherwin stole 17 bases last year and was only caught stealing once. If Sherwin is on base when the Lutes need to score a game-winning run this year, she will be able to come in clutch. Multi-talented Kelsey Robinson, a junior, will step to the plate and the mound this year. Robinson batted .309 and drove in 17 runs last season. Not bad for a pitcher who finished with 27 strikeouts in 25 games. The team starts conference play February 22nd when they take on Pacific at home. Game time is set for noon. The track team will compete in their first meet March 1st when they travel to Linfield. The team will take part in the Eric Anderson Memorial Icebreaker. Senior Ivy Reeves leads the sprinters after recording a time of 10.79 seconds in the 100 meters last year. That's only 1 second slower than world record holder Usain Bolt. Kyle Pert returns for his senior year after leading the Lutes in the shot put, hammer, and discus last year. We'll find out soon enough if the Northwest Conference title belongs to Pert. Senior Madison Keel and sophomore Amanda Wilson lead the women after achieving success in the sprints last year. Keel was second on the team last year in the 100 meters with a time of 13.27 seconds. Wilson led the team last year in the 200 meters, clocking in a time of 26.26 seconds. The women's swim team completed their historic season by claiming the Northwest Conference title, which they have not done since 1996. The team won by only 2 points over Whitworth. The Lutes were up by 8 points going into the final event of the meet, the 400 freestyle relay. All the Lutes needed to do was finish in second place, and that's just what they did. The PLU team of sophomores Hannah Armstrong and Melissa Dean and first years Morgan Commander and Darcy Booth clinched the win for PLU with a program record time of 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Looks like this team is going to be consistently successful for the next 2 years. I believe that's all the time we have for this evening. We'll see you next Thursday at 9. Check us out anytime at massmedia.plu.edu. For all the News at 9 team, I'm Sam Horn. Good night.